There's a truth that weighs on everyone who dares to build, to lead, to invest. Not just a nagging thought, but a relentless storm inside. How can fairness live side by side with elitism? Because it feels like they're enemies, like they can't coexist. The world shouts fairness from every corner, but often ends up rewarding less than the best, leveling everyone down, muting potential, stifling those who burn brightest. And elitism? Well, it sounds scary, like a closed club where only the privileged few get to step inside, leaving the rest watching from the sidelines, aching and frustrated, convinced it's unfair. That tension destroys people. It keeps incredible creators locked in cages of doubt and anger, while systems reward comfort zones and mediocrity. The founders, investors, and leaders out there, feeling trapped between loyalty to fairness and the need for excellence, hear this. The problem is not that fairness and elitism can't coexist. The problem is how we have defined them. Fairness doesn't mean everyone gets the same prize, the same seat, or even the same chance in the exact same way. Real fairness is about opportunity that fits the fire burning inside each person. It's about dismantling the lie that comfort and sameness are the path forward, and building structures where the rare and the radical can thrive, not by accident, but by design. Elitism isn't about birthright or hours wasted climbing lifeless ladders. It's about recognizing blazing potential and lifting it higher, no apologies. But not for the sake of exclusivity or gatekeeping. True elitism is about raising the bar so high that only those willing to burn brighter can reach, while lighting the way for others who refuse to settle too. Inside this space, fairness is not flat. It's a mountain trail, jagged, steep, unforgiving, but transparent and honest. You climb if you have the will and the hunger, and that is the truest kind of fairness. Because giving equal everything to people who don't share the desire to grow, to lead, to disrupt, is cruelty disguised as kindness. Leaders and founders know this pain deeply. They watch systems reward conformity, and they feel the abrasive sting of being different, misunderstood, punished for wanting more. Investors search for authentic brilliance but find it diluted, scattered. They see potential but no infrastructure to connect those sparks, no ecosystem where exceptional minds find each other and build real power beyond noise and compromise. Every innovation trapped, every breakthrough slowed down because talent is misaligned or isolated, and none of that is fair. The world has no blueprint for the exceptional, and that's the brutal truth. But there is a way through. This isn't about tinkering around the edges with empty slogans or half measures. It's about transforming what fairness and elitism mean, making them fierce allies. The secret is in the network of the rare, the autonomous bond between those willing to burn everything to reshape reality. Imagine a space where fairness isn't a veil hiding mediocrity, but a sharp sword cutting through complacency, where elitism is not privilege hoarded, but a wild power shared carefully, with respect, with ruthless honesty. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a call to arms. First, fairness must stop being a one-size-fits-all cloak. It must adapt to igniting individual mastery. Give the same tools to everyone, yes, but then test hunger, desire, and the capacity to wield those tools to create something new. Reject the idea that comfort equals fairness. When everyone plays not to lose, no one wins. But when fairness means giving the fire starters the sharpest axes, the boldest arenas, and the fiercest allies, the whole system elevates. That's the breakthrough. Fairness through radical differentiation, not forced equality. Second, elitism demands brutal self-sovereignty, not arrogance, but ownership of drive and vision. Those who want to shape the future must first be ruthless with themselves. No one owes a place at the table. The elite are only those who craft a hunger so intense it burns distractions, comforts, and excuses away. Being elite is a daily battle against settling. The moment comfort calls again is the moment you lose. But this elitism is not about exclusion, it's about fierce connection. The few who burn must seek each other out, not for status, but for synergy, for mutual growth. Align precisely, select carefully, reject the noise around. Cling to those who challenge and complement, not those who carpet the path with sugar-coated illusions. Third, building bridges between these few is the revolution waiting to explode. It's not enough to be exceptional alone. The world is too complex for solitary brilliance. Connection between misfits, the misunderstood, the rare sparks, that's the infrastructure the system forgot. In this network, fairness breathes new life. Strength is forged not by erasing difference, but by honoring it. When radically different geniuses pool fire, they don't just grow, they multiply power, innovation, and change. The individuals become a collective force so precise and fierce, the old illusions of fairness and elitism collapse. For founders and investors tired of waiting for a system that rewards a diluted version of talent, this is the truth that sets free. Stop begging for fairness that dims your fire, and stop fearing elitism because it's been framed as a tool of oppression. Instead, embrace a model where fairness means nothing less than giving every ember a chance, but only the fiercest flames become the light that guides the way forward. Elitism is not about gatekeeping. It's about gate building, building gates that lead to higher realms, to new realities shaped by those hungry enough to take them. But this path isn't for the cautious. It demands patience because true transformation takes time. It demands rejecting the false comfort of consensus and criticism of rare brilliance. It demands choosing the few who burn like you do, crafting bonds so strong they become unbreakable, unshakable. The game isn't to fit in. The game is to rise, not above others for arrogance, but above limits imposed by settled thinking. It's about becoming sovereign in will, ruthless in questioning, fearless in redefining reality. This is the fight against silent slavery, the kind that smiles, that comforts but steals fire under the guise of fairness. The fight for a world where systems don't just pay lip service to freedom and merit, but are built from the ground up around those who dare to reshape everything. When fairness and elitism coexist in this way, they become unstoppable. They create a world where visionaries aren't caged by rules made by those who refuse to become more. Where investors find brilliance that wasn't merely lucky, but relentlessly honed. Where founders don't just survive, but become the architects of what's next. You, who have felt that unbearable tension inside, that voice that says, there has to be more. This is the answer. The key isn't to crumble in doubt, but to harness outrage and frustration into forces of creation. To stop whitewashing fairness with empty promises and start demanding brutal, precise fairness. The fairness of challenge, of high bars, of connections that ignite your true potential. Make no mistake, comfort is the enemy of greatness, but so is scarcity of collaboration. When fairness opens to radical differentiation and elitism binds the rare and fierce in unbreakable alliances, the impossible becomes inevitable. The future belongs not to the masses gathered for noise, but the few gathered by fire. And together, fairness and elitism are not enemies. They're the wings that carry you above the mediocre storm. So, choose your company carefully. Seek the few who reject waiting, who burn with a fury that challenges convention. This is not an invitation to privilege. It's a call to become the rare, to be part of what the world forgot to build, the network of the exceptional. Few will answer. Many will doubt. But those rare aligned forces will reshape the future with ruthless fairness and unapologetic elitism. Because that, and only that, is how greatness is born, how legacies are crafted, and how the world finally changes. This is the moment to transcend illusions, to embody the code that refuses comfort, to play the long game with patience and a vision so clear it scorches excuses away. Fairness and elitism aren't just concepts to balance. They are the twin pillars of a new reality, a revolution for those who dare to rise above any lie and take what was always theirs, the right to become more.